Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining us. Up next on the 5 o'clock edition of Action News, we're fast approaching that joyous time of year which sadly so often turns to tragedy. We'll show you why. And with the apparent demise of the ERRA, the National Organization for Women, what now?
One thing we do know is the whereabouts of the original Dolly. Bobbie Wygant says she's bringing the house down in Dallas. Stay tuned, we'll have complete details, plus a look at sports and weather next.
At Red Lobster, we're prepared to make your dinner something special. And that means paying attention to every little detail. Come on in for something special, prepared just for you.
'Cause we're seafood lovers too. Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
What you're about to see is a new and special red salsa for real lovers of Mexican food. La Especial. Special because of its especially delicious sauce. Special because of its luscious chunks of plump, ripe tomatoes, peppers, and onions. It's so especially chunky you can stand a chip in. And so delicious, you'll never forget the name. La Especial. Salsa, taco, and enchilada sauces. The taste for real lovers of Mexican food.
What a terrific white sale going on now at Target. Squeeze, crush, and touch these Century Classic towels by Tastemaker. They're a soft blend of thick and thirsty cotton and long-wearing cotton polyester. A rainbow of solid colors and coordinated floral prints. Only $3.44. Cannon's Challenger 2 towels in lush colors of blue, green, or parchment. Now only $1.99. What great buys. Bye-bye. The white sale at Target.
Harrison Ford of Blade Runner tonight at 6:30.
Hello, everybody. I'm Pam Moore.
And I'm Brad Wright. In less than 7 hours at midnight tonight, all hope for an equal rights amendment this go-around will be dead. And for those opposed to full and equal status for women under the Constitution, today is a day of celebration. Members of the Dallas chapter of the Eagle Forum are in that group, and today they listened as local President Wright told how women are better off now that the ERRA is dead.
We are not against the working women. Absolutely not. We are 100% for any woman who wants to go out in the working world, fine. It's just that we feel that we should have the privilege of staying at home.
Forum members from all over the country are gathering in Washington this evening for a victory dinner. Now the group says it will turn its attention toward public education, the task of spreading the anti-ERRA word. Pam?
Well, whether you're for or against the Equal Rights Amendment, whether you're happy or sad about its defeat, the debate about the ERRA and all women's issues has brought about a lot of change in all of our lives. Action News reporter Parfitt today talked with one of our area's staunchest ERRA supporters to get her perspective on our past and our future.
You don't have to tell Christine Jarosz women have come a long way since the ERRA was first introduced in 1923. Every time she climbs a roof or paints a house, she realizes some of what she's been fighting for is sinking in.
Maybe people come out on their houses, bring their little chairs, and come over and talk to me about women's rights and how pleased they are to see women, you know, on top of their houses painting, because they know they should have had an opportunity before, and now they're glad for the women's movement because they've made it possible for more women to do work.
More women are working than ever before. Women have more protection under the law. Yet Jarosz insists it's not enough.
In the state of Texas, you can't legislate equality. It becomes something in the minds of the people. It's real necessary for there to be a change in attitudes, obviously. And until the attitudes change, things are still difficult for women.
What do we want? ERRA! And we want it now!
Jarosz has been in the front lines of the rallies and demonstrations. She and other women in non-traditional jobs are now role models children haven't had in the past. The ERRA will die today, but Jarosz says she's not discouraged. She won't relax.
We just start all over, introducing another bill, but continuing in our lives, because we're changing the world right now, working.
Parfitt, Channel 5 Action News.
Supporters of the Equal Rights Amendment are still arguing that lawmakers did not reflect the will of the majority in their rejection of the ERA. In tonight's Action News InstaPoll, you get a chance to express your opinion. The InstaPoll question, should another effort be made to pass an Equal Rights Amendment? To register your vote, call one of these numbers. To vote yes, call 1-900-720-0050. To vote no, call 1-900-720-0055. Remember, a 50-cent charge will be added to your phone bill for the call, and although this isn't a scientific sample, it will give us an idea of your opinions. Results will be given at 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Action News. And if you don't have a pencil handy, we'll have the question and phone numbers for you again a little bit later in the newscast.
Well, in other news today, you could be out up to $200 in fines, but not only that, you could lose your home or your whole holiday weekend plans could blow up in your face. Action News reporter Lesley says area fire officials are gearing up for a strict enforcement program as the 4th of July holiday approaches.
This scene looks innocent enough, and yet, according to the fire department, chances are these two boys could be headed for big trouble. If they use their new firecrackers over the city line in Fort Worth, Dallas, or most of the other cities in our viewing area, they'd be doing something illegal. If they use them here in Cannondale, even though it's legal, it could be dangerous. To show you just how dangerous fireworks can be, the folks at the Fort Worth Fire Department consented to shoot some off for us. And even in this controlled situation, all kinds of things went wrong. 10 minutes or so after this firecracker was fired, it still hadn't cooled off.
That rascal was hot.
Then there was this bottle rocket, which, by the way, is being sold illegally. Bottle rockets were banned this year in state. We bought one in Cannondale, though, labeled Butterfly Rocket. It flew every which way but the way we had anticipated.
Bottle rockets have a history of causing a great deal of fire damage simply because they do fly very high, and there's a possibility that the projectile will land on a wooden shingle roof or in a field of dry grass.
Lesley Nichol, Channel 5 Action News, Cannondale.
Well, while the ERA appears to be gasping its last breath, in the marketplace, female buyers remain a force to be reckoned with.
Up next, Carolyn Razor tells us about one major automaker zeroing in on what it sure is a lucrative segment of the population. Stay tuned.
Thinking about tacos or nacho supreme or chicken enchiladas with lots of sour cream?
Here's your El Chico time of the week.
Has it been a while since your last enchilada? Our special chicorito or carne asada, hot sauce tostadas, every meal comes complete. So why wait any longer? It's your time of the week.
It's your El Chico time of the week. Ow!
Shopping is never a headache at Tom Thumb Page.
When I get a headache, there's one thing I'm not going to do. Switch to another pain reliever. You see, for such a long time, my pain reliever's been Bufferin.
People have confidence in Bufferin because it has buffered strength, strong aspirin, the pain reliever doctors prefer, plus special protection against aspirin stomach upset. The combination of the two is what buffered strength is all about.
When you know what's right, you stay with it.
Bufferin in the 100-tablet bottle is just $2.39 at Tom Thumb Page.
Linda Mears spent 15 years fighting her urges to drink alcohol.
I tried many times to stop drinking, and I was successful for short periods of time, maybe a week or a month. The SHIT program is medically researched. It's based on the practice of medicine, the physical aspect of alcohol addiction. I don't have the urge to drink anymore.
Call Schick-Shadle Hospital in Fort Worth, Metro number 5890444.
How can you miss from this gigantic selection of used cars from Summers Chrysler Dodge, Dallas? And remember, friends, only $49 down delivers. Here's a 1978 Pontiac Grand Prix. Look at this price, $2,949, or $49 down, $149 a month. Pick up the phone, give us a call. Here's a 1978 Ford Pinto. Would you believe this? $2,449, or $49 down, $129 a month. Pick up the phone, give us a call, 296-5599.
The mentally ill and the mentally retarded don't often have much political power, but politicians do often allocate the money that can help them. So Action News reporter Kevin Berger tells us an effort is underway to show those politicians what they're getting for their money.
Damien is only 3, but already he's been identified as having learning problems. Though he seems vocal enough, a year ago he wasn't talking except in gibberish. Now, several days a week, he works with his mom and a teacher at the West Dallas Mental Health and Retardation Center. He's still behind, but closing the gap.
If children like these are helped at an early age, their learning problems may be reduced and may even go away completely. But programs like these are expensive, and with federal money reduced, state and local money has never been more important.
And these are the people controlling state and local funds. They are either elected officials or candidates running for office. Today they toured a few of the 35 mental health and retardation centers in Dallas County. The board overseeing the centers set the visits up, all in hopes of making the politicians receptive to mental health issues when it's time to fund programs. Chet Edwards has just been elected to the state legislature from Dallas. He's never been in a facility like this before today, but says he's wiser for the visit.
If we turn our backs on these young folks, then we're a sad state indeed. I think it has to be a top priority.
The group behind the tour is trying to foster that kind of eye-opening awareness, so these people will continue to help those who can't help themselves. Kevin Berger, Channel 5 Action News.
We spent a good portion of this newscast talking about the Equal Rights Amendment. And ERRA or no, the Ford Motor Company is convinced that women have come a long way. And as Channel 5's Carolyn Razor tells us, the automaker is going all out to make sure that women make their next advances in Ford cars.
Workers at Mike Shaw's Ford dealership in Grand Prairie spent the morning sprucing up their showroom, doing their best to attract the same customers who just a few years ago might have been told to come back with their husbands. Ford has decided that women are big business. The automaker surveys show that women buy 40% of all new cars on their own. They cast the deciding ballot in buying another 40% of the cars that are sold each year. So Ford is making the Metroplex a test market to see what's the best way to attract the female customer.
The sticker price for this program may come as something of a shock. Ford is spending more than $600,000 just to court women car buyers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area alone.
Employees here have gone through special awareness training. Management has offered a cash bonus to women who want to take a test drive, and the company has invited several thousand women in for an educational open house tonight. They'll get guidelines on how to take care of a car as well as a fashion show. And people like Mary Mccoy will be on hand to let the women know that Ford has been listening to their ideas.
What qualities are they looking for in a car?
Comfort and, as I say, economy is a real issue now. And the woman just wants dependability, something that's going to get her where she needs to go.
If this program works here, it may go nationwide, and we may begin to see as much beefcake as cheesecake in Ford Company car ads. Carolyn Razor, Channel 5 Action News, Grand Prairie.
The Texas Insurance Board spent a busy day in Austin dealing a pretty good hand to homeowners across the state. Effective September 1, homeowners statewide will see a 20% drop in their insurance rates. Farm and ranch owners about 17.5%. To supplement that, the Insurance Board okayed a 5% insurance premium credit to property owners who install certain types of anti-theft devices, such as solid wood doors, special window locks, and deadbolts. The ruling, however, excludes burglar alarms or window bars.
Still ahead on Action News, the self-proclaimed old lady of professional tennis struts her stuff at Wimbledon.
While a Bedford youngster pleads for the return of his closest friend. A special story about a special relationship in a moment.
This salad needs more flavor.
Well, drowning it with that dressing won't help.
Yeah, but I want a lot of taste.
Well, then try Good Seasons. A little Good Seasons has a lot more taste. And a real bikini. Look, Good Seasons has 50% more herbs and spices than the leading bottled Italian dressing.
Hey, Good Seasons does have more herbs and spices.
50% more. That's why a little Good Seasons has a lot more taste.
Delicious.
Delizioso.
Now try new Zesty Italian, too.
You didn't make the team, huh?
Things just didn't turn out quite the way we hoped they would tonight. We can still do something right.
I guess you take after your old man. Come on, let's take your mom out to dinner.
For all those times of yours.
Thanks, Dad.
With
Thanks,
family,
Mom.
friends, and furs.
Furs Cafeteria, a friend of the family.
Out of the blue comes the ice blue freshness of Aquavelva. Out of the blue comes the Aquavelva man. Looking for the light scent, the clean scent, the fresh scent that comes from out of the blue. There's something about an Aquavelva man. Be one.
Time now for Wednesday night sports, and we're going to go live out to Arlington Stadium where Stan Radford is standing by. Stan?
Thank you very much, Brad. Looks like another hot and humid night of baseball here at Arlington Stadium. The second game of a three-game series between the Rangers and the California Angels. Of course, last night the Angels came out on top by the score of 2-1. Let's take a look at the highlights. The winning run was scored in the fifth inning as we watch Bob Boone single up the middle off Doc Medich in the fifth inning. And it drives in Doug DeCenses with the winning run as the Angels win it 2-1 before some 15,000 last night at Arlington Stadium. Doc Medich is with me right now. And Doc, you pitched so well, 9 innings, gave up only 7 hits. Is it frustrating to pitch that well, a losing effort against a lineup like the Angels?
It's frustrating, but it's frustrating any time you lose, whether you lose 2-1 or 10-0. It's tough to take, and a lot of people think that you don't really feel as bad when you get beat in a close ball game, but it really doesn't matter. The fact that you lost kind of overrides everything.
Thank you very much, Doc, and better luck the next time.
Thank you.
Doc Medich of the Texas Rangers. Of course, Doc used to play with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They were playing this afternoon at Wrigley Field in Chicago. They won that game against the Cubs by the score of 7-3. At Wimbledon today, most of the top names won. Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe, Chris Evert-Lloyd and the women, along with Martina Navratilova, but there was one major upset. Billie Jean King upset third-seeded Tracy Austin. For more on that, let's go to a former Channel 5 sportscaster, Boyd Matson, at Wimbledon for NBC.
1 years and 20 championships. You would think Billie Jean King of the near court would be content to rest on her laurels and leave the tennis to the kids. But there she was today on center court playing Tracy Austin. The 19-year-old Ms. Austin, one half the age of Ms. King, raced out to a 6-3 first set victory. Then Ms. King, who nobody thought would be in the quarterfinals, did something else nobody thought she would do. She fought back to win the next 2 sets, 6-4, 6-2, and move into the semifinals. Although some of her quickness and power have gone, Ms. King proves she could still chase down shots all over the court, and that her aggressiveness has not diminished at all.
I felt very calm today when I woke up. I really felt everything's fine. I'm lucky to be here. I think at 38 you have a little more perspective on things, you know? You know it's a bonus to be here, and whatever you can do, for every point you can win, for every game you can win, for every set you can win, you know, it's great.
Ms. King has now given the kids at Wimbledon a lesson in respect for their elders, but she wants more. She wants another championship. The next hurdle in the way of that goal is Chris Evert-Lloyd. And you can be assured when those two meet tomorrow, there will not be much attention paid to what is going on all these other courts. For Billie Jean King is once again the star at Wimbledon. Boyd Matson, NBC News, Wimbledon.
Billie Jean King, a surprise winner today at Wimbledon. Stan Radford reporting live at Arlington Stadium.
All right, thank you, Stan. A little boy in Bedford is trying to find his missing dog. But this isn't an ordinary dog or an ordinary boy. 2-year-old Rocky Allen has terminal brain cancer. And Action News reporter Mike Snyder says Rocky needs to find his dog, Lady, because she is the closest friend and protector he has.
Lady is, Lady's Rocky's dog.
Lady is a 9-month-old collie. She looks a lot like Lassie. Rocky is a spunky 2-year-old kid. He looks nothing like the fighter. But looks are deceiving. Rocky has been fighting for his life since birth and winning so far. In the delivery room, doctors didn't think Rocky could survive a heart defect. He did. When he was 1 year old, Rocky was discovered with brain cancer. Doctors removed a tumor the size of an orange and predicted damage to his brain would leave the boy totally paralyzed and retarded. But Rocky beat the doctors again. He's as active and alert as any normal 2-year-old. But his mother knows Rocky still has a time bomb ticking away under that hat.
There was a little girl diagnosed with Rocky, and she was supposed to die this week. She had the same kind of cancer, brain cancer.
Rocky knows nothing of that. He only knows his dog, Lady, is missing.
She's already so protective. We went down to my mom's in Glenrose, you know, the other day, and we went in the creek. Lady got so upset. She thought Rocky was being hurt in the water, and she couldn't understand, so she just leaped in the water and grabbed his foot and was trying to pull him out, you know. I keep saying, as long as there's a God, you know, there's hope for Rocky and for Lady's return.
If you happen to see Lady, call us at 429-1550. Help us reunite this boy and his dog.
Daddy, come home.
Mike Snyder, Channel 5 Action News, Bedford.
Let's hope somebody finds that dog.
That's right. Of the thousands of people throughout the course of the evening who will obviously go out and look for Lady, let's hope one is successful.
That's right.
And we'll be back with more of Action News as we continue for Wednesday evening in a moment.
Everybody needs a dependable set of tires. But you also need a dependable dealer, like Hill Tire Company. My friends at Hill Tire offer a wide variety of Dayton tires, from their blue ribbon steel-belted radials to their Super Stag all-terrain tires. But Hill Tire knows there's more to your car than just tires. That's why they'll service your brakes, shocks, and alignment, too. Remember, Hill Tire Company, where tires are not a sideline. Take the road with Dayton Tires for one of over 100 Dayton Tire dealerships in Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma.
So you want the power, but you're scared. You want decom power and decom foregone because the wipes out roaches kill 17 kinds of bugs. But you're scared a fog this powerful will make a mess. Well, relax. This is a clean kill. Sure, foregone's powerful. One can cleans out roaches in the whole room. But come back later, there's no bad smell, no sticky mess. It's the clean kill for bugs, decon foregone.
Raising a barn is really rewarding work, but it sure makes me thirsty. So I head straight for this, new improved Nest Tea. Nest Tea's as natural as all outdoors.
Because now Nest Tea slow brews its tea just like the sun does, for clear, fresh brewed taste and color.
If you're looking for natural, sunny-tasting iced tea, oh, you just found it. New slow brewed Nest Tea. There's nothing like it under the sun.
Sometimes, when you least expect it, an uncontrollable urge may come over you.
Lobster.
And when that happens, there's just one thing to do. Red Lobster. For juicy lobster tail, just the way you like it. One bite and you know you found something special.
'Cause we're seafood lovers too.
Now, about that craving for
dessert. Red Lobster for the seafood lover in you.
Developers in Fort Worth hit a brick wall again today when the Plan Commission refused to budge from a ban on high-rise buildings. Developers of the Jade West project were seeking the okay for 2 high-rise condominium towers to be built in the affluent Arlington Heights area. This is the second time the plan has been turned down. The first time around, the developers filed a suit, claiming the commission had no right to reject the project. The site chosen for the towers is north of Camp Bowie between Highland Park Circle and Burton Hill Road. The owners say they're losing $15,000 a week in interest and other payments on that undeveloped property.
Well, weather-wise, Harold Taft, to use one of your favorite little cliches, today's weather was PAP, precisely as prognosticated.
Well, it was very close to that, yes. Matter of fact, I was just sitting here thinking, you know, we haven't had any rain for 2 or 3 days now, but that's not altogether true, because yesterday, you know, there were some pretty good showers just up north of Dallas. This afternoon, some pretty good showers just south of Dallas, so there are some folks in the Metroplex who are still getting rain almost every day. And I think there'll be more of them forming again tomorrow and the next day and the next day, and they'll continue because this is now a typical summer pattern, and we're getting these scattered afternoon thunderstorms that develop. Friday, they may be a little more numerous, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Right now, let's take a quick look at the board because this is what happened today. It was only 93 at the airport. Some of the thermometers around town were reporting a little higher than that. 94 is normal, 73 is normal low. We were 75. This is just real close to a typical summer day here in late June. And a year ago today, the temperature was 76. The high was 95. Now, if we look at this, though, on the record books, 2 years ago today, it was 107 degrees. Had 88 of an inch of rain in 1919, and back again in 1899, we had a cool day, 64 degrees. Sun rises in the morning at 6:24. It sets at 8:41. Let's look at the radar. Yes, there it is. See? This pretty good little area of rain in through here south of Interstate 20 and extends on down, well, this is Lufkin over here, College Station on down. Then here's some on I-35, see down and around Austin and back up in towards San Angelo. I don't think there's anything right in our immediate area. Here's some up in southeastern Oklahoma. And for the benefit of those right here in the Metroplex, let's kind of enlarge it and take a quicker look at that. You can see where the showers are from south of Dallas on down along I-45 and then east of Interstate 45 and south of I-20. And there's some from Hillsboro south on down. See them scattered all the way on down in toward Waco and down toward Austin. Well, just a few there, here and there. But now let's look at it from on top. Turn the satellite on. Quite a massive cloudiness, see, right down in this area of Texas. And in the Beaumont-Port Arthur area, they've had some pretty heavy thunderstorms here in the last hour or so. Here's a pretty good cloud mass down here, a lot of thunderstorms there. And let's look at them all up and down the mountains. Every mountain range got them. They build up in the afternoon. Here's some up in Oklahoma. Here's some in Arkansas. Here's some trying to form out in West Texas. And remember now, we're looking at clouds. When we look at the satellite picture, when we look at the radar, we're looking at precipitation. So the two don't always match. Now, on the Texas map, I plotted these as they came in at 5 o'clock. And these are the areas that are being reported by radar around over the country through Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas and Louisiana. And you can see pretty much that it's a scattered, erratic pattern. Our wind flow is out of the south. The thunderstorms today are drifting very slowly toward the north. So some sections of South Dallas, maybe Grand Prairie, portions of Irving, Red Oak, and on to the south of Dallas, Cedar Hill, may actually get a little shower before 9 o'clock tonight. I don't think it'll interfere with the ball game, but you can watch it nevertheless. It won't last very long if it does, and should all be pretty well gone by 8:30 or 9 o'clock. All right, on the national map now, here's what we see. You see a lot of areas of these rains, but there seem to be larger and heavier areas out to the west. Last night in the high Sierras, there were snow warnings above the 7,000-foot elevation, cooler area in the eastern section of the country, and the wind flow in the upper levels is the pattern. There it is. See, the wind shift right off the west coast, and that may give us a little more shower activity about Friday. So tomorrow, with all of these things considered, more scattered thunderstorms over Texas, the mountains, in through the middle section of the country and down into Florida, good weather in the east and in the southwest, and really not much change here. We've had a few thunderstorms around today. There'll be a few around again tomorrow. Outside, we can see those build-up clouds, but they're not overhead here. Southeast is the wind direction, and it's light, 5 miles an hour. The barometer at the moment is at 29.94, and the relative humidity is 54%. Our temperature reads 90 degrees right now. We've had no rain. Partly cloudy, isolated or widely scattered thunderstorms on afternoon, but a little heavier, I think, on Friday. 75 to 95 and light southerly winds, and for the 4th of July, let's just say partly cloudy and warm, and hope that you don't find one of those isolated thunderstorms.
Okay, thanks very much, Harold. Dallas has waited 18 years to see the original Dolly in Hello, Dolly.
Is Carol Channing worth waiting for? Channel 5's Bobbie Wygant tells us what she thinks when Action News continues.
Seago Diet Meal tastes great.
Seago looks great. Wow, Seago.
Seago Diet Meal. Great taste for great looks. Seago.
Someday you'll retire. Will you be financially prepared? By starting your Terran Savings individual retirement account with $2,000 annually, which is tax deductible from current gross income, you can enjoy your retirement years. Terran Savings compounds your tax-deferred interest daily, helping build thousands of dollars for your retirement. If husband and wife both work outside the home, $4,000 per year can be deposited. If only one is employed, $2,250 can be deposited. Your account is insured to $100,000 by the FSLIC. Start your IRA account at Terran Savings.
Plane crashes. Hundreds have died because rescuers just couldn't get there fast enough. But on Wednesday's Extra, you'll see a flying fire engine that might have spared some of those lives. It's a helicopter made right here in Dallas-Fort Worth that some call a miracle machine. See the crash copter on Wednesday's Extra on Action News at 6.
The Dallas Summer Musicals has presented Hello, Dolly before, but never with Carol Channing. She created the part on Broadway and won a Tony. Channel 5's Bobbie Wygant says this time Broadway comes to Dallas for sure.
Like many of you, I've seen Hello, Dolly umpteen times, but I never really saw it until last night at Fair Park Music Hall. Carol Channing's Dolly Gallagher Levi is the perfect mix, a wide-eyed, beguiling Carol and a take-charge Dolly. She meddles for a living, an arranger of everything from marriages to curing varicose veins. Channing keeps the audience on a high from the moment she enters until the curtain comes down. There are many special moments, and count them, 2 showstoppers. Except for Carol Channing, this is an all-new cast, but it's Broadway quality throughout. The staging is stylish and showy, the supporting cast is strong, and you couldn't ask for a better chorus. Patrick Quinn is outstanding, the best Cornelius I've ever seen. Quinn sings great and is funny, especially when he learns to dance. What a find! Another high point is the Waiter's Gallop. And then the big number everybody comes to see. Carol's husky voice is not Streisand's powerhouse, but Streisand's Dolly is not as winning. There were a few bobbles last night, but nothing major, and Carol's ad-lib when she couldn't get her hat off only added another laugh. This Hello Dolly is one of the most memorable nights I've ever spent in a theater. Before the parade passes you by, get yourself out to Fair Park Music Hall and see the original Dolly, Carol Channing. She's the real thing. Bobbie Wygant, Channel 5 Action News.
Sounds impressive. Well, Dave, what's at 6?
Well, Pam, coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, angry property owners are protesting their overvalued houses. A lawsuit could cancel out every decision commissioners and other officials have made this year. We'll be explaining that. And a town in Oklahoma achieves, I should say, a rather dubious first. These stories and more tonight at 6.
Okay, we'll look for you then, and we'll be back at noon tomorrow.
Nightly news up next. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Wednesday, see how a shy 13-year-old became a $1 million model, real people. And on Facts, the girls become role models for a foreign student. Then, on Love Sydney.
Will I be famous?
Patty stars in Sydney's commercial. Then Quincy tracks an arsonist, and it may be his last case. It all happens Wednesday following the presidential address.
Good evening, everyone. At the top of the news tonight, it was appeal day for local residents who don't think their property is worth as much as the city does.
A recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling could take dozens of Texas office holders out of office. And this helicopter, big as it is, can get into hot spots firefighters wouldn't be able to. I'm Dave Lehman.
And I'm Jane Jarosz. Action News is next.
Still want to know why Acme brick is the best thing to have around your house?
We're on the move at Jack Williams Chevrolet. The logical choice, Jack Williams. Come in and see us today.
I'm Roger Williams, inviting you to the grand opening celebration at our big new location at Highway 80 West and Loop 820 in Fort Worth. Take advantage of outstanding money-saving deals on any new Chevrolet, Peugeot, or Isuzu. We'll outtrade just about anybody in Texas during grand opening days.
Our new McRib is swimming in barbecue sauce. McRib sandwich. Barbecue flavor really coming across. McDonald's new McRib. You know it tastes like a no-bones barbecue. All meat, all McRib, all through. Tender pork on a home-style bun. With pickles and a taste of onion. You deserve a break today. McRib cooked up McDonald's way. No bones. Tender pork. No bones. New McRib. No bones. New McRib.
Harrison Ford of Blade Runner tonight at 6:30.
Good evening, everyone. A lot of recent judicial rulings and legislative actions in Texas may be wiped out.
That incredible realization hit home today after lawyers examined last Friday's big U.S. Supreme Court decision upholding Texas election laws. Now, the High Court's ruling in effect says this: some office holders who announce candidacies for other elective offices while still having more than a year to serve in their current terms automatically resign their current jobs, whether they knew it or not. The implications are staggering, and tonight, Karen Parfitt takes a look at one of the candidates who could be affected.
Is Jim Jackson still a Dallas County Commissioner, or isn't he? Jackson thinks so, but others doubt it.
Karen, I don't believe he is.
Lawyers in Dallas, both Republicans and Democrats, are just now studying the full impact of the Supreme Court ruling. They tell me they believe it means Jackson automatically resigned his commissioner's job when he chose to run for Congress. At the time, lower court rulings had given Jackson and other candidates hope that the automatic resignation clause didn't apply. Now the Supreme Court has upheld it. Jackson refused an on-camera interview, saying he sees no need to respond to partisan speculation.
It's not partisan politics, Karen. It's whether we're going to follow the law or we're not going to follow the law. And this affects Democratic office holders as well as it does Republican office holders.
Several other lawyers we contacted agree with Greenberg and say the repercussions are potentially enormous. The ruling could affect more than 160 office holders and candidates statewide, people who either resigned to run for the Texas legislature or who didn't resign from their current office to run for other office. The list includes judges, legislators, mayors, council members, commissioners, and some say if they weren't legally in office, all the public decisions they made could be challenged. Karen Parfitt, Channel 5 Action News.
Well, the uproar over that court decision may be nothing compared to a fight beginning to happen in Fort Worth. And here's the reason. The Ridgely Movie Theater wants to sell alcoholic drinks. Reporter Delbra Walker says many religious leaders are furious over the idea and are preparing to go to battle over the bottle.
Appreciate that.
These ministers from throughout the city could hardly wait to get lunch out of the way so they could take on the pressing matter at hand. Stop the Ridgely Theater management from opening a beer and wine bar in its balcony area. The strategy, a petition drive. The ministers are pledging the support of their congregations, thousands of people, and they say church members are willing to show their numbers at City Hall in 2 weeks when the council takes a vote on the issue.
We are opposed, not just to Ridgely Theater, but we are opposed to the evils that alcohol represents.
The manager of the Ridgely is stunned by the uproar his plan has created. He says the theater makes most of its money off the concession stand, and alcoholic drinks may be just the kind of shot the Ridgely needs to put sales on the right track.
When you go to Texas Ranger baseball games, there's beer and wine sold there. That's general family entertainment. And it's consumed around children. Here, it will not be consumed around children. It will be strictly adults in the balcony only.
The ministers are looking beyond the council's decision. If the Ridgely is allowed to sell beer and wine and it proves to be financially successful, it could start a new trend that may spread to other theaters in the city. Delbra Walker, Channel 5 Action News, Fort Worth.
There was a lot of complaining going on today in Dallas, but these complaints had to do with money and property. Victor Solis reports disgruntled Dallas County property owners got their chance to protest new tax appraisals.
This was a time to settle differences.
That there was an error on one, she said just show up on the second one.
Property owners on one side, a 3-member appeals panel on the other. At issue, the new market values given to the property and homes of Dallas County taxpayers. Like most others who have appealed, Mrs. Margaret McNeil feels the values are too high. This is a property in question. Mrs. McNeil's home is located in a low-income residential area in Grand Prairie. The appraisers say it's worth $21,000. Do you think you could sell your property for $21,000?
No, I don't think I would. In fact, nobody would buy it.
Mrs. McNeil's try didn't work. The panel voted to uphold the appraiser's recommendation. This was the first day for appeals. 21 cases were reviewed, and only 8 appraisals were changed. So far, over 500,000 appraisals have been sent out. The appeal process will continue until all cases are reviewed, and that could take several weeks. Victor Solis, Channel 5 Action News, Dallas County.
Murder charges were filed today against 18-year-old Amelia Diaz in the death of her 3-year-old son. The child died Monday of severe bleeding from the head and stomach. The boy had been stabbed and bitten. Diaz is being held in a Fort Worth jail with a $50,000 bond.
A new survey out has some rather startling implications on teacher burnout in Dallas.
We'll tell you about that and take a look at the futuristic firefighting machine that's here today.
Of your summer with hundreds of value-priced items in the new Summer Value Days circular from True Value hardware stores. This custom accessories foot pump, just $3.99, inflates tires and toys. AMF Paragon's automatic air conditioner timer for $8.99 lets you come home to a cool house. Conserve water and energy with the Saver shower head, just $4.99. and choose from assorted GE insect trap fluorescent bulbs from $6.99 at participating True Value hardware stores.
And in conclusion, I'd just like to say you've all done an excellent job, except for Cruller. Crawler? Crawler, who I told to send a package to L.A. overnight. And it never got there. And it never got there.
Next time, send it Federal Express, or you may never hear the end of it.
It's the 4th of July, and Handy Dan is celebrating with star-spangled savings for you in the giant 12-page circular. Look for specials in every department, like Glidden Paint. Summertime painting projects have never cost less than with Glidden's half-price sale. Spread satin wall paint goes on smooth, and one coat covers in most cases. And it's half price, only $7.99 a gallon. Or save $9 a gallon on spread house paint, just $9.99 now at Handy Dan.
Handy Dan, we make it easy.
Might sound a little strange, but a large number of Dallas teachers have admitted playing hooky from school. The reason? Burnout. In a survey released today by the Dallas Federation of Teachers, more than 60% said that they took off at least one day last year because of stress. Pay and paperwork are the problems.
Over 50% stated that given the opportunity, they probably wouldn't ever make teaching their career again. But the same 50 to 60% said they're staying. That means we've got a lot of unhappy people. It means we have one big prison farm, doesn't it?
Hiscox plans to take the survey results to the school board in hopes of getting teachers some job improvement.
Airplane crashes are always unexpected and almost always fatal. Hundreds of people have been killed in recent crashes. Whether they died from the impact or from drowning or from fire, one factor is almost always present: rescue teams rarely get there soon enough to do much good. But in tonight's Action News Extra, Mike Snyder has discovered a flying fire truck that may change all of that.
January 25th, 1982, a twin-engine private plane crashes near the Laredo airport. Federal investigators say passengers could have survived the impact because the plane had slowed down for landing. But by the time rescuers got to the wreck, all 7 people inside had been burned to death.
I went to the back side of the plane, and there was, the life raft that they put out from the door. So I slid down it, and there was about water waist deep, so I just waited to land.
January 24th, a World Airways DC-10 skids off a runway and lands in Boston Harbor. 206 people survive, 2 were killed, lost in the icy water.
And there was water, and there was getting out and looking back and seeing all these people and no way out, and it's very scary.
Just a week earlier, an Air Florida jetliner with 78 passengers on board slammed into Washington, D.C.'s 14th Street Bridge. Only 5 people survived the icy plunge into the Potomac River.
We've seen occasions where we could have, we feel, could have saved lives had we had this piece of equipment.
This is the Crash Copter, a specially outfitted Bell 205 helicopter. After losing several test pilots because fire trucks couldn't get to a crash soon enough, Vought Corporation of Dallas started developing this unique rescue copter.
If for some reason he didn't make it back to the airport or didn't make it to the field, and he was 100 yards outside of the perimeter in a brushy area or in a swampy area where our trucks could not arrive, they can stand 100 yards and they're helpless. They can't get to him. That's not the case with this machine. We can go to him immediately and be of assistance.
But this helicopter can do a lot more than just drop down and pick up an injured pilot who bailed out and landed in the sticks. This helicopter is truly a flying fire engine and can rescue people from a crashed airplane while it is still burning. Vought engineers have developed a mechanical arm, much like the one fitted on the space shuttle, so the helicopter can spray pressurized foam over rescuers as they walk into a flaming crash. The Vought Crash Copter has already proven it can save lives in small crashes. But could it help save lives in a big jetliner accident, like the Air Florida crash, where passengers were tossed unconscious into the icy Potomac River?
Had this helicopter been there with the scoop net or the retrieval net that we have, I think it may have been possibly easier for the personnel in the water to get into the bird cage or the scoop net that we operate with. Under those conditions, they were maybe somewhat partially unconscious. The cold water was about to get the best of them. I I think that this helicopter could have been used to a terrific advantage.
While Vought is very proud of its crash copter, it is quick to point out this is not a replacement for the big fire trucks loaded with foam. The cost of each copter runs into the multi-million-dollar range, but with its life-saving capability, the crash copter could become the rescue unit most major airports cannot afford to be without. Mike Snyder, Channel 5 Action News.
Well, thank you, Mike. Well, coming up in a moment, the ERRA has its place in history as of midnight tonight. In a moment, we'll be asking your opinion on that.
And we'll check with Harold Taft on the weather. Stay with us.
Haverty's has it. We've got it all.
Romanesque by Broyhill, one of Haverty's most popular dining rooms. The trestle table with its glossy fruitwood luster, woven caneback chairs, brass grillwork panels in the lighted china cabinet all add up to an expensive look that makes Haverty's sale price seem almost incredible. Just $9.99 for the 8-piece group, now at Haverty's.
Haverty's has it. We've got it all.
With each sunrise, you face another day of risk. Sometimes when you're in traffic or crossing a busy street, you realize it. If something did happen today, would you call Restland, Lauraland, or Singing Hills? They serve all of Dallas, and one is near your home. Each has a funeral home, cemetery, and flower shop to provide your family the convenience and savings of a complete funeral at one place. It's the better way in every way at Restland, Lauraland, or Singing Hills.
Next on an all-new Entertainment Tonight, Kim Fields from NBC's Facts of Life reveals a secret desire.
Can I just be normal for just 1 hour, you know? Just let me be any other kid.
Then an exclusive with Harrison Ford. From Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Time to die.
And now, the science fiction thriller Blade Runner on an all-new Entertainment Tonight.
The hottest news in showbiz, Wednesday at 6:30 and 11:30 here on 5.
The 10-year drive to pass the Equal Rights Amendment ends at midnight tonight. As you know, it failed because it was 3 states short of the passage. Well, plans are already underway tonight to reintroduce a new ERA in 2 weeks in Congress. Now, in tonight's Action News InstaPoll, we want to know what you think about all of this. Our question tonight to you is, should another effort be made to pass an Equal Rights Amendment? If you would like to take part in this non-scientific poll, you can do that by calling one of these 2 numbers. If you are in favor of another ERA attempt, call this number, 1-900-720-0050. Okay, now if you are against another ERA attempt, call this number, 1-900-720-0055. Remember, the call will cost you 50 cents. The InstaPoll lines will remain open until 7 o'clock tonight. We do have some preliminary results from the voting that began at 5 o'clock. Remarkably, it is split right down the middle. 50% of you want the ERA to get another chance. 50% say no.
And we do not get to express our opinion in terms of the weather. It comes to us regardless.
Yes, and although we've had a very nice day, just because it's not raining on our parking lot doesn't mean that it is not raining other people's backyard. Athens, off just east of us, 1.95 inches of rain. Our weather watcher there says little street flooding. And the Sheriff's Department at Elmo, which is on the highway just east of Dallas, Interstate 20, called the National Weather Service about 9 minutes after 5 o'clock, said they'd had a little high wind there, possibly a little twister, that blew over a mobile home and uprooted some trees. I can see on the radar some of this moving into South Dallas County. You can expect a little gust of wind along with it, a little dose of pretty heavy rain, pretty big shower just in there south of Grand Prairie right now. I'll show you all of it in a minute, though, but right now, here's the board. This is what happened today. 93, that's been the high. 75 has been the low, and that's very close to normal for this time of the year. A year ago today, it was 95 degrees, but 2 years ago today, it was 107. And in 1899, it was 64 on this date, the coolest on record. 88/100ths of an inch of rain fell on this date in 1919. Officially, that's the most that has fallen. Now look at this radar. Yes, quite a bit of activity. Here's shower activity from Palestine over to near Tyler and on up to the highway, and then down in toward Corsicana. Then, let's see, this is Hillsboro right here. So north of Hillsboro, that would be probably what, Alvarado on up in toward South Dallas County. And I could see right in here along the highway, that's a pretty good shower there. It might help folks a little bit if we enlarge that. Yes, I think we can see it a little bit better now. Right here. See, right there's Interstate 20. Here's the loop around Dallas. Here's this shaft of very heavy rainfall. This is not up here in Fort Worth. Now, this is just ground clutter. See, here's more in off to the south. This is drifting slowly to the south. The ballpark is, yes, right there is the ballpark. So you can see the Rangers probably will see the rain off the east, may get a little east wind out of it as it moves across. Well, we'll go back to our original scope. Let's look down on it now from above. Here's the satellite picture, and you'll notice quite an arc of clouds right in through this region. Some of this, of course, has some thunderstorm activity in it, as we've seen on the radar, and there's a lot back in through the mountains. If we turn the enhancer on, we can see where the heaviest part of it is, and you see this just south of Dallas is built up pretty good right now and can give some fairly heavy rains. Heavy showers moving into Austin at the moment also. Now, let's look at the Texas map. I plotted the radar reports as they came in. So this is Dallas, this is Fort Worth, so you can kind of see how close these thunderstorms are. They're moving from the south toward the north, but doing so very, very slowly. And this area outlined in white to the south, and this little area right in through central Texas are the areas of the warmest temperatures today. Temperatures in those regions were 95 degrees. Now, on the national map, a lot of areas of rain all scattered about, some cooler weather coming into the north, and a lot of shower activity off out into the western part of the country. As a matter of fact, there have been very heavy rains on the mountain ranges in Washington and Oregon, and snow in the northern Sierras above 7,000 feet. Oh, let's look at the wind flow in the upper levels, because this is going to kind of determine what's going on. Notice a wind shift coming in from the west. I think it will have some effect on our weather. We're going to continue to have these scattered showers. Here's a little low down off Brownsville in the upper levels of the atmosphere, pumping more moisture up into it, so it'll continue, I think, on through the next several days. Tomorrow, I would expect the map to look like this, with widespread shower activity again across Texas, heavier up into the mountains, and a zone of it all the way from Mississippi and Alabama on up into the Dakotas. The weather in the east will be good. The weather in the southwest will be good, and of course it'll be good locally, but could get hit with a shower. Now, if you look outside, we can see rather dark clouds off south of Dallas right now. The wind is out of the southeast, blowing with a speed of about 8 or 10 miles an hour. The barometer at the moment, 29.94, and the relative humidity is at 56%. Our temperature reads 91 degrees on the thermometer right now, and we have had no precipitation. We'll call for partly cloudy and warm with more scattered thunderstorms. I think they will be more numerous and a little heavier on Friday, and the temperatures will range from 75 to 95. The winds will be out of the south, and for the 4th of July, partly cloudy and warm, but still a few picnic spoilers around.
Possibility of that, huh?
Oh, they'll be there, just be scattered.
Okay. Thank you, Harold. Well, Billie Jean King gets her 103rd win at Wimbledon. We'll be telling you about that.
And we'll be talking to the man who switched from the National League to the American League, and now his California Angels are in first place.
He shoots down prices till there ain't no shop.
Where's Ford?
At Westway Ford, we're really shooting down high prices. Look at this. New 1982 Ford F-100s or 1983 Ford Rangers start at only $58.88. And we've got a huge selection of these sturdy American-built Ford pickups. Bring your trade, make a choice, we'll make a deal.
Westway Ford.
Westway Ford. What's behind the pep and pizzazz? Seeley, really? Where'd he get the snap that he has? Seeley, really?
Seeley Posturepedic, luxurious comfort and a back support system designed in cooperation with orthopedic surgeons, so you wake up feeling really.
A Seeley Posturepedic mattress below the nationally advertised price.
We'll make it yours at home.
Dallas, Fort Worth, Sherman, and Waco.
Hi, folks. This is a Glendora Happy Book, and it tells you if you go by yourself and get your thought into shape, you can have anything you want in life. We all know this is true, but we don't do it. The Glendora Happy Book could help you do this. It could help you to get wealth, love, peace, success. To get your Glendora Happy Book, send $3 to Glendora, Box 31414. I live in a box. Dallas. And you'll get a free gift, the Glendora Money Pen, with $1,000 inside, all ground up by the Federal Reserve System. Some people have money to burn, they have money to shred.
The Rangers would be a little happier tonight. They didn't have to play one of the tougher teams in Major League Baseball.
They'll be happy no matter who they play if they get a W at the end of the night, Dave. Every night. Just about everybody has heard about the Lynns, Carews, and Reggie Jackson. on the California Angels star-studded roster. But how many teams have a number 9 hitter batting .297 with 29 RBIs? Well, the Angels do, and we're about to introduce you to Bob Boone, and Stan Radford has the honor. Stan?
Well, thank you very much, Carl. And, of course, Bob Boone has not only done the job at the plate, but also behind the plate. And the way he's handled this Angels pitching staff, before the season, they were questionable. But so far this year, they have a team ERA of 3.24. And I asked Bob Boone about that performance.
As far as my contribution, there's been a lot of nice things said, and I appreciate that. But it's nothing magical that I do behind the plate. I do feel that I have something to bring to a pitching staff when I call a ball game, and certainly don't want to hurt them in any way. But the big key is that they're putting the ball in the spot that I want it.
Last night you did the job with a bat in the 5th inning, drove in the eventual winning run off Doc Medich.
Well, I got a nice pitch to hit. I think the count was 2-2. I've had some success in that situation this year. I like to hit in a sacrifice fly situation, and I was just looking to hit the ball through the middle. I got a pitch I could handle, and luckily hit it where nobody was standing.
Well, there are a lot of home run hitters tonight at Arlington Stadium, and don't expect too many. There's the wind that is blowing in. Dave Hostetler would really have to belt one to get one out of here tonight. It'll be John Matlack pitching for the Rangers against Ken Force for the Angels. Stan Radford reporting live from Arlington Stadium.
Okay, Stan, thank you very much. Enjoy the ball game. We'll have highlights for you of that ball game tonight at 10 o'clock. One game in the National League, already a final. The Pirates beat the Cubs 7-3. At 38 years of age, Billie Jean King is allowed to call herself the old lady of tennis. And tonight, she can call herself a winner. And if memory serves me correctly, for the first time in her new career, not her new career, but in her career, she has beaten Tracy Austin. The score is 3-6, 6-4, 6-2. Martina Navratilova and Chris Everett Lloyd also advanced. And in men's play, John McEnroe beat fellow American Hank Pfister in straight sets 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. While number 2 seed Jimmy Connors ousted Australia's Paul McNamee 6-2, 6-3, 6-1. And if Billie Jean King keeps playing the way she is, she will have a new career even at 38 years old. Now, I don't know about you, but I think Ted Giannoulias is a weird name for a chicken. Then again, this is no ordinary barnyard cluck. Let's take a look.
When Ted Giannoulias created his chicken character for a San Diego radio station back in 1974, he had no way of knowing he would one day become baseball's most recognized fan. He was honored on his 8th birthday and given a 1,200-pound cake replica of Wrigley Field, later to be split up among several children's institutions. Giannoulias, now 27, makes more than 200 promotional trips a year and earns a good living from his brand of broad physical humor. In less than a half hour, the chicken sampled some beer, put a hex on Pirate pitcher Rick Rhoden, which resulted in a Cub base hit, warmed up the Chicago infielders between innings, shined up a bald man's head, and when Larry Boa killed a Cub rally by grounding out, the chicken collapsed in dismay. Giannoulias and his chicken have a host of imitators, none of whom have had a fraction of his success.
Any thoughts on your next 8 years? What are you after?
Probably a chick, and probably want to build a nest egg and all that stuff. And one really important thing. Can you get me a date with the NBC Peacock?
Barry Burnson for NBC News, Chicago.
Well, stick around because the
He's
chicken's
great.
coming to Arlington Stadium this summer.
Oh, he's great. Thank you, Carl. Wapanevka, Oklahoma is barely big enough to put on the map.
But the distinction it has now puts it not only on the map, but on the legal papers as well. The story coming up.
Don't just sit there. Hurry to Sanger-Harris store-wide July 4th sales and clearances for sizzling savings on everything to make your summer more fun, starting tomorrow.
Time to celebrate. Set a festive 4th of July table and celebrate the savings during Affiliated's big Texas-style cookout sale. A half gallon of Sure Fresh ice cream is 99 cents. Fresh California strawberries are 49 cents a pint. 2-liter bottles of Shasta assorted drinks are 78 cents each. And a Watertown or Columbia soup spoon is 39 cents. Now at Affiliated.
Part of the community, like your food store really ought to be.
Affiliated Food Stores.
Seago Diet Meal tastes great.
Seago looks great. Wow, Seago.
Seago Diet Meal. Great taste for great looks. Seago.
When you're ready for basting, but your margarine's not.
Give it a little squeeze.
No ordinary margarine goes so easy on the barbecue as Easy Squeeze Parquet.
The grand jury found plenty of wrongdoing once they started looking into the Bank of Woodson. In February, we told you about the bank failure in the Little West Texas town. Now, the grand jury has indicted the bank's chairman, Tommy Ballard. They say that he misappropriated the bank's funds. The grand jury has already indicted the bank's vice president, Barbara Robinson, and she has already pleaded guilty to one count of misappropriating the bank's money.
Well, a bank going broke is one thing. A town is something else. A small town in southern Oklahoma is the first in the country to go bankrupt. Ed Martell says the story is, well, bigger than the town.
Wapanukka, Oklahoma is a quiet little town of less than 500. Looking around Main Street, the town's obviously not prosperous, but it's not obviously broke either. But it is.
This is where it all started. A truck came around the bend about like that one. 2 oil tankers came off the road into the city's lake. Polluted it so bad they couldn't even use it anymore. They had to look elsewhere.
To get clean water, the city went and tapped a couple of farmers' wells south of town. The city got court permission and set aside $5,000 to handle any damages. That was in 1979. Well, when the court ruled last week, the total damages plus legal fees and court costs were about $200,000.
We can't pay that judgment. That is out. No way in the world this little community can pay a judgment like that, plus lawyer fees and interest, runs it well over $200,000 now. We had no other way out, only to bankrupt.
Most of the folks in town aren't happy about their new status as the first and only bankrupt city in America.
Well, I don't think much of it, because there wasn't no sense in it.
Still, the folks in Wapanukka plan to stay in their town. After all, this is their home, bankrupt or not. They don't know what the future will bring. They just know it will be decided in federal bankruptcy court up in Muskogee. Ed Martell, Channel 5 Action News, Wapanukka, Oklahoma.
And here's some of the stories we're working for you tonight. The city of Dallas is helping motorists beat the high cost of traffic fines.
And if you have $99,000 just sitting around, we'll show you a sale item that you can buy with that money.
Action News will come on at about 10:30 tonight because of the President's News Conference. You can see the President here on Channel 5 at 7. Join us at 10:30.
Have a good night in the meantime, everybody.
The finer things in life. Happily, some are affordable, like Grey Poupon Dijon mustard. Grey Poupon is so fine, it's even made with white wine. Its original French Dijon recipe adds distinctive flavor to beef, pork, and poultry, salad dressing and sauces, and of course, sandwiches. So enjoy one of life's finer pleasures.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course.
Grey Poupon. It even has wine.
Light and lively. Light and lively.
It's the only half the fat slice that starts with rich Kraft natural cheese. Now an even richer blend from Kraft's cheddar family, or half the fat and all the richness of Kraft. Remember the name.
Light and lively.
From Kraft.
Where are you going?
I'm putting on the Ritz.
You just turned on a fan. Why the formal dress?
This is the Ritz, one of the finest fans made. It comes in 5 beautiful finishes, has wood blades, and reverses with a pull.
Nice, but who needs a fan that reverses?
Oh, you do. During the winter, the Ritz circulates warm air, so you can lower your thermostat and save money.
A fan for all seasons.
Not just a fan, it's the Ritz.
Buy Ritz, on sale now from $129.95. That light's fantastic.
The Merv Show, 3:30 weekdays.
He say you under arrest, Mr. Decker.
Tell him I'm eating.
Harrison Ford rates his acting ambitions.
Slightly driven.
Kim Fields gives us the facts.
Nobody in show business is normal.
While Jonathan Frid has made up his mind.